Joining me now in the Sunday Morning Futures exclusive is Senate Majority Whip, Wyoming Senator John Barrasso. Senator, good to have you this morning. Welcome.
Great to be with you. Thank you, Maria.
What is your reaction to your colleagues on the left telling U.S. military members to ignore President Trump's directive?
Well, what they're doing is wrong, and I believe it's dangerous, Maria. They have no right to tell members of the military to disobey. We're talking about active duty military, to disobey orders from their commanding officers. That's the way the military works, and it's up to the Supreme Court to decide what's constitutional, not 6 Democrats on social media. I think the president is absolutely right to be requiring and talking about legal responsibility and them being held accountable. These are the same Democrats who've been doing everything they can in the last 10 months to undermine President Trump, undermine the Republican Party and our efforts. Every one of them voted to raise taxes by $4 trillion. Every one of them voted for the shutdown and kept our country shut down and caused significant pain to the American people. That's who they are. They're not looking for solutions. They're part of the problem.
So is this just Democrats trying to clip the wings of President Trump with these new bills? What are these bills that are trying to lower President Trump's effectiveness and lower his power?
Well, you got it absolutely right. They're doing everything they can to undermine the president. That's why Chuck Schumer figured out his playbook to shut down the government. It was to hurt President Trump, to hurt the efforts of the country moving forward. They did tremendous damage. That was organized and orchestrated weeks in advance. Many of them wish the government was still shut down. In spite of the pain they've caused people who were working and weren't getting their paychecks, military members who weren't getting paid, in terms of what they did for people who were stranded traveling and how that hurt, and all of these people waiting for government assistance for food stamps, all of these people were hurt under this politics of pain by the Democrats. I think they're working overtime to do everything they can to undermine what President Trump and Republicans are trying to do, which is to make our country safer and more prosperous.
Well, look, we are less than 40 days away from the Affordable Care Act pandemic-era subsidies expiring. You've got 72 days or 70 days until a potential government shutdown. By the way, that's 2 days shy of Groundhog's Day, Senator. Are we going to see another Groundhog's Day, the end of January, where the government shuts down again?
Well, the goal is to not have that happen, Maria. Like, Republicans are focused on making life more affordable for American families, and that means more money in their pockets to buy gas and groceries and to heat their homes. And if you take a look at where we were a year ago and where we are now, there has been a dramatic reversal with President Trump and Republicans in terms of the border, in terms of energy, in terms of tariffs, in terms of trade, and in terms of America, peace through strength. That's what we're focused on. We have passed, as Kevin Hassert, your last guest, just talked about, this working families tax cut bill. All of these things are important and are going to put more money into people's pockets. By the end of the year, we will have broken a record for the number of punishing regulations that we've been able to repeal. And you're right, we need to get these appropriation bills done by the deadline date. We have 5 more to go, which will fund 88% of the government. And that way we can avoid the blackmail by Chuck Schumer of shutting down the government again. We need to get America back on track. We got more work to do. We're heading in the right direction.
I want to get your take on this $2,000 stimulus check, because there's an analyst out there at Piper Sandler who says it's unlikely. He says the only way that any stimulus checks could even be passed via legislation is through a second reconciliation bill. And that will have a deadline of October 1st, 2026. Are you expecting a second reconciliation bill next year?
Well, we certainly can do a second reconciliation bill. Certainly, President Trump is trying to put more money into the American people's pockets. That's what we're all working on. And he has been so successful bringing in tariff revenue. We're talking hundreds of billions of dollars. And the question is, what do you do with that money? And some are suggesting sending out checks. I am such a fiscal hawk, Maria. I am concerned about the size of our national debt. It's $38 trillion, as you pointed out at the beginning of the show. The interest alone on that is over $1 trillion a year. That's more than we spend on our military. So I think there would be some value in using some of that money to actually pay down our national debt.
You know, Senator, I was talking with Kirsten Sinema the other day. She joined me on Mornings with Maria, and I asked her straight out, why she left the Senate. She and Joe Manchin were very upset because they felt that the Democrats were going to eliminate the filibuster. Now, this has come up again with President Trump wanting to reopen government during that 43-day shutdown in terms of using the filibuster. Where are you on this issue? Because President Trump was getting real frustrated there at the end. A record-long government shutdown. He said the Republicans should do it alone. If you know in your heart of hearts that the Democrats, once they return to power, will eliminate the filibuster, why not just do it now?
Well, the president makes a very compelling argument. And Maria, I've always supported the filibuster because I believe it's a tool that Republicans can use to protect ourselves against the terrible things that Democrats would love to do. They would love for the Republicans to get rid of the filibuster. You know what the Democrats want to do? They've talked about it. They want to expand the Supreme Court from 9 to 13 with radical judges who really don't believe in the Constitution. They want to make D.C. and Puerto Rico states with 4 new Democrat senators. And they want to change the voting rules to eliminate voter ID, making it easier for illegal immigrants to vote. I'm against all of those things, and I'm going to continue to say, talking to other members of our delegation and the Republicans, I think the filibuster protects us from those sorts of things, and we can use a second reconciliation bill with 51 votes if need be.
Okay. Well, that's the key right there. Senator, I know that every year on Thanksgiving you go visit our troops. Are you planning to do that again this week?
Yeah, I've had the great privilege of visiting troops overseas. I go to see wherever Wyoming soldiers are. I'll be heading over to the European theater for Thanksgiving with Wyoming troops, talking with them. We'll bring maybe 20 members of the Wyoming military together for a big Thanksgiving meal, ask about their home families, their communities. Many of them, it's their first time away from home for Thanksgiving. Done it every year to thank them on behalf of the American people for what they do to keep us safe and to keep us free and to allow us to continue to live in the greatest country in the face of the earth.
We are so grateful you do that. And of course, we are incredibly grateful for our troops. Happy Thanksgiving, Senator. Thank you.
And to you, Maria. Thank you.
All right. Senate Majority Whip, Senator John Barrasso.